Hello and welcome to Stroke by Stroke. I am going to do two different cards here like I did in the last video because I have 3 duplicates of cadmium orange, and then I have 3 duplicates here of alizarin crimson, and so those are going to be what I play with today. And of course I will be using the De La Roni FW white acrylic ink because yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So I have Winsor & Newton Cad Orange, I have Daniel Smith Cad Orange, I have M. Graham Cad Orange, M. Graham Alizarin Crimson, Art Creation Alizarin Crimson, and Core. This is permanent alizarin crimson. And I need to do a little bit of research because I don't know what the permanent, I'm assuming that it means that it's light fast, but I'm not sure. And as I almost always do, I am going to be using my mineral paper, and I will be working wet on wet with, of course, pet hair for some grins and giggles thrown in there. So yeah, hopefully this isn't going crazy here with the autofocus. That's always the most difficult part at the beginning, is trying to keep the camera in focus. So I am going to start here with my M. Graham cadmium orange, and my pain levels are so much better today. Dealing with allergy stuff, but my joints are fine. It rained pretty much all night, but now it's sunny outside, so I think I'm getting a little bit of a break here. So yeah, yay. And it's unpredictable as to whether I'm going to be in pain or not, so okay, so this is a very thick amount here of the cadmium orange, and you can see how it just disperses. I really do like that aspect of a lot of the M. Grahams will do this too, because right there, that could be a finished image in my opinion. Okay, so this is the Daniel Smith cadmium orange. And oh, my water looks like Tang, so yeah, this is going to be a highly staining in terms of, at least for the water, because oranges and reds are kind of heavy pigments when it comes to that. So I'm gonna come right here, and you can see right away how more yellow the Daniel Smith is here. It's not, and it's also just not moving the same way. Alright, and my cadmium orange from Winsor & Newton is pretty thick, but I think I can get enough to get a good test. because it's not actually dry. Like in the last video, the sap green was pretty much unusable for the tests. So let's see here, what do I want to do now? I'm going to come over here. Boy, that is a completely different kind of color. So that's fascinating, isn't it? It also doesn't spread as much like the M-gram. There, you can see how different the three cadmium oranges are. And just from the standpoint of spreading, definitely like the M-gram the best. And so this is Art Creation, Alizarin Crimson. And I'm just gonna come, what am I gonna do? I'll come right here. Okay. You know, I don't know how I came across the art creation stuff. My best friend was telling me that it's like a Hobby Lobby, I think she said. And she may have indeed been the person who gave it to me. I don't remember. And it's okay. Honestly, if you are on a really tight budget, I'd have to research and find out how much it actually is, but I would hope that it is significantly less expensive than the M-gram, Winsor Newton Professional, or Daniel Smith. So I'm gonna come over here. Oh, look at that. Yep. As with almost everything, the M. Smith, look how it just, I just love that. Now, if I was trying to do like representational flowers or something like that, this might actually not be the best choice, because the spread can be incredibly unpredictable sometimes. So the one thing that is always predictable is pet hair. And I will probably zoom in here because I feel like doing that kind of editing today. This is granulating nicely too. This is the M-gram. And then last but not least, here we have the core. And I really like these too. These are surprisingly expensive paints. But they do some pretty interesting things. I cannot tell you how much better I feel and how wonderful and freeing that is. Let's see here. I'll come up here. Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, the biggest change that I see between the alizarin crimsons is really just how it spreads. I'm not seeing a huge difference between the colors so much. A little bit. But that's perfectly fine. And even though I level this piece of glass so that things won't pool in one spot, I almost always go that direction because this right here is probably the lowest part of this table. At some point I may look into replacing the table here just because of that, so I don't know. And of course, here is the FW. I like this because it also, whew, and I like to use it for blending a lot. And it's just so much fun to watch this happen. And it's interesting how the watercolor here looks very yellow. And it may be by comparison. Not sure. But I do know that there was a huge difference in those cadmium. Now see, that's yellow, honestly. At least that's what I think it looks like. And I do kind of have eyes a little bit like a mantis shrimp. It means I can detect very subtle differences in colors. Some people can't. It's fascinating when I look at that. And an interesting little thing that I have discovered over time is blue lights, like Christmas lights, that kind of thing. I can't deal with them very well because I used to think it was because I couldn't see it very well, but I have discovered that the problem for me isn't not being able to see it, is I see it too much. So that makes it difficult to look at. So blue light is definitely a problem for me. And I want to give a shout out. I'm not going to use the person's name because I don't have permission to, but I did get a message on, and I'll put it up right now so you can see, stroke by stroke at yahoo.com. A person, a very generous person, sent me a message and asked, about the mineral paper, and also how they could make a small donation as a thank you. And so yeah, and being a person who is by circumstances beyond my control, I have to have some anonymity because of the domestic violence stuff. I really did have to think twice before I sent my contact information for the donation, because and it's nothing about this person, but I don't know them, and I'm pretty sure, in fact I'm 99.9999999% sure that it is not anybody affiliated with my ex-husband. But it did give me pause a little bit. And so living in the shadow of domestic violence is exhausting, honestly. And I am not a fan. And I'm not sure which one of the colors is doing this strange little thing here. It's like it's flaking, and I'm not overly thrilled with that. And unfortunately, I think it might be the core. I'm not sure. which one. I'd have to go back and look at the video because, and that's another reason I do the videos, is because my memory, ever since the stroke, I have a very hard time with short-term memory. Learning new things has definitely been greatly affected. And I can actually forget what I'm talking about in the middle of a sentence. That's happened more times than I would like to. I don't like that. But it is what it is. And, you know, life does come with a lot of different challenges. When you are a disabled human. And I really don't like disabled. I don't like that term very much because I am still able. It's just different. I'm differently abled now. Yeah. See, and I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I was talking about these weird flecks. I really kind of like that texture. It's kind of like the saran wrap thing on steroids or something. Oh right, I was thinking about, you know, how careful I have to be with so many different things now, from a domestic violence standpoint, confidentiality, and also just because my brain doesn't work right anymore. And when I say it doesn't work right, that's actually a little misleading because it works exactly as it should, considering what it's like now in my brain. But more precisely, what it is for me is it doesn't work the way it did in different parts of my life, you know. Before I got COVID, I didn't have any kind of memory fog whatsoever. And now, all the time. And I think COVID had, you know, a lot to do with that, because when I got COVID in the first place, brain fog was a huge problem. And then, of course, the stroke just looked at my brain and said, hold my beer. Even though I don't drink anymore. And by the way, I have not had a drop of alcohol, nothing at all, since January 19th. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that, actually. Because, yeah, I definitely have an unhealthy, excuse me, relationship with alcohol. And a lot of it was, you know, I would drink to get rid of my emotions. And that started when, in 2009, my partner died. And I was lost. And so I started drinking to deal with that. And the next thing I knew, I was drinking with, we weren't married yet, but my ex-husband. So yeah, and that was to cope with episodes that he would have and stuff. I don't want to talk about his story because it's nobody's business but his. But I can talk about how it has impacted me. And it was a lot. And so, you know, he would drink and I would drink in order to deal with him when he was drinking. But honestly, it was an excuse because drinking, I like it. I like the taste. Single malt scotch, man. Whew. I love that stuff. Can't afford it. At one point in my life I could, and that caused me some issues. But now, nope. So I do, because I have a condition called antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, APS, and that is a fairly rare condition where my blood clots a lot. That's why I had a stroke. And I'm on warfarin now for that. Warfarin, it's generic Coumadin. And so there's a lot of stuff I can't eat anymore because vitamin K, all the things I really liked, have high amounts of vitamin K. And that's been quite the adjustment. And because of the warfarin that I'm on, I can't, see, I did it again. I started thinking about warfarin. What was I talking about? It'll come to me. I was gonna say, give me a minute. I'm the only human physically here right now. But anyway, right, for pain, that's what I was talking about. I can't have NSAIDs anymore. And with the arthritis pain, for a long time, the only thing that would work, I had my medical cannabis card in New Mexico, and that worked. But I would do a lot of Aleve, naproxen sodium, and it would actually help the pain some. But unfortunately, I can't have that anymore. The only over-the-counter analgesics that I can have these days is Tylenol, and Tylenol doesn't really do anything for me in terms of joint pain. So yeah, that's been quite a journey, and I was using alcohol once I stabilized and wasn't homeless anymore and stuff like that. I used alcohol medicinally, and that was great because I you know, it's like, okay, that actually did work. But I realized when I found myself on the floor and didn't remember how I got there, I realized that I had a problem with alcohol. I couldn't do it medicinally because I couldn't stop. I could for some time, yeah, You know, I could quit, you know, for 6 months or so, but then the pain would get really bad, and I would do everything I could, and it didn't help. So I would drink like 1 or 2 shots, and it was great. It helped, because what it did is I just didn't care that I was in pain anymore. But when I woke up on the floor, not knowing how I got there, that is extremely dangerous for someone who is on warfarin, because if I had, you know, cut myself when I passed out, then it would have, you know, cut yourself or fall, internal bleeding. Warfarin is a blood thinner, and that could kill me. And that was, I guess, the wake-up call I needed to get me to just walk away from alcohol. And having been a substance abuse therapist, I know how easy it is to kind of fool yourself into thinking that you can handle it. And you can until you can't. That is one of the truest things in the world. So I quit cold turkey, and I know from being a substance abuse counselor that some people can do that and some people can't. And it is not a moral failing. It's just how you are, your individual meat suit deals with things. And I did it with alcohol, or no, yes, I did do it with alcohol, but I also did it with cigarettes. I decided that, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And after, you know, a long series of serial quits, I was a serial quitter, but once it got to the point where it was hurting my lungs and I wasn't enjoying the feeling of it, when it was hurting me too much, and I just walked away from it. I put my cigarettes down, and oh good Lord, we're probably getting on toward 8, maybe 10 years now that I haven't had a cigarette. And I don't crave it. That's one of the big things. I do not crave cigarettes. But I do still crave alcohol sometimes. So that one is definitely my nemesis, so to speak. So, yeah. With the APS, I don't know how long I've had it. It is a genetic thing, so probably my whole life. But it has had a huge role in my life, even though I didn't know. It's also a very good thing that I never wanted children, because one of the symptoms of APS is miscarriage, and that would have been devastating if I'd wanted children and then could not have them, you know. So my heart goes out to anybody who is dealing with that kind of thing, because that's a big deal. But I feel fortunate that I just never wanted children, and I never had kids. Okay, I think that the core and the acrylic ink, the reaction that they're creating is kind of not what I want here. That flaking, I really don't care for that so much. And I'm going to come back here to some more core watercolor. This is the original alizarin crimson again. And I want to see if this is the issue or not. And also from just a, what do you call it? Composition point here. This area is too clunky. I really like when it blends together. This is too sharp. So I am gonna, well, didn't intend to drip right there, but okay. Now let's test my theory here that that's the problem. Let's see. Let's see if the core and the white play nice or not. No, it's starting to kind of look like maybe they do. I don't think it's the core watercolor that's doing that strange texture, but it's hard to tell. Nope, take it back. I think it is. Just look at that, it's doing it. And what I'm doing right now is just trying to balance the contrasts. I am walking away. So, yeah, I am calling this done. And this was a fun one. I have learned that different alizarin crimsons are not exactly interchangeable, but they are they're useful, honestly. All of the colors are useful in some way, but particularly these alizarin crimson ones. And I was honestly very surprised at the difference between the cadmium orange brands. And I like them all for different reasons. I really do enjoy the core and how it just exploded on here, as well as the M. Graham did the same thing. So nice granulation. Some weird things can happen when you combine some of these with the acrylic ink, but overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So this has been Stroke by Stroke. Do what makes you happy, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and that you are able to be as kind and gentle and graceful as possible with yourself and others, because we all need it. And I will see you in the next video.